All right, recording is good. Are we good to go or yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Someone just please just everybody that's in here, just please make sure we are muted so I don't hear
Everybody
myself.
that's in here, just please make sure we are muted. So I
Like I do now.
please make sure we are muted. So I
Like I do
make
now.
sure we are muted. So I
Like I do
make
now.
sure we are muted. So I
Like I do
make
now.
sure we are muted. So I
Like I do
make
now.
sure we are muted. So I
Like I
make
do now.
sure we are muted. So I
Like I
make
do now.
sure we are muted. So I make sure we are muted.
Miss Tejeda, you're in there twice and you're not muted. 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 Twice and you're not muted.
Oh, all right, we should be good. All right, cool. I'm gonna get started. All right, so hello everyone. Welcome to our curriculum night. This is going to be a presentation by your eighth grade teachers. So we're going to start off with our grading policy in AOC. So this is a school-wide grading policy. It goes for all grades. It goes for every eighth grade teacher in here. So our classworks and projects, they make up the biggest chunk of our grade because it is what we give the most. So we have that as 40%. Our assessments, so any test or quiz that we give, that is 35%. And we have professionalism. We had this grade last year as well. It is weighted at 5% this year. We have participation is 10%, and homework is 10% as well. So moving on to our homework policy, this is also something that is school-wide. So homework is 10% of the grade. There is a lateness policy on it. So if it is a day or two late, there's no penalty, but we have a conversation with said student, letting them know that if it continues being late, that it is going to be penalized. So once it reaches 3 to 5 days, for each one of those days, that assignment gets 5 points off of the grade. Up to a week late, students can receive no higher than a 75% on the assignment. 2 weeks late, students can receive a 50% instead of a zero on the grade. 2 or more weeks late, it is then up to the teacher if they will decide to take it late or not. And if they do, they have the discretion of giving the grade less than a 50. If they don't decide to take it, it will just be a zero. So we're going to move in now to the teacher portion of it. So, so I'm Mr. Roberts. I am the eighth grade history teacher. Sorry, a little bit about our curriculum. So we start out with the Civil War, where you go through the growth of America, through industrialization. We try our best to get into the modern day. We don't always get into the modern day, but we try our best to get into it. The students are going to be focusing on analyzing nonfiction text as well as using a lot of evidence to support their arguments. We try and prepare them the best we can for high school and history, because in high school you're going to be using a lot of evidence to back up claims. We use McGraw-Hill. Students will be given a digital subscription of it. I have not given out the digital subscription yet. That is something I'm going to do next week. So if you're wondering where that subscription is, they will see it next week. Oh my God. So homework. Homework for me is split with classwork. So you have your child or your will be asked to do half of it in class, and then the other half is going to be done for homework. This way, it is not piling on in class, and we have time to continue moving things. And this way, they are still continuing to assess what they're learning at home. This way, it's kind of a split to keep up with their classwork as well as their homework. I have a lateness policy on classwork as well as homework. So classwork, if it's not handed in on the due date, you have 5 days to turn it in late. Every day that it is not turned in is 10 points off of their grade until it becomes to the fifth day. After the fifth day, it is going to be a zero. Move on to Dr. Cat.
Okay, So I'm Dr. K. I'm the eighth grade ELA teacher. That's my email address if you ever have any questions or you need to contact me for any reason. Next slide, Tyler. So the materials we need in class are mainly the binder with folders and paper and dividers. Those are usually kept in my room, so there's really no reason for them not to be prepared in class. The expectations are just to be on time, be prepared, be present, be respectful, and be ready to learn. There's live professionalism and participation scores that are taken at the start of the week. So if you look at Power School, every Monday I'm putting in the professionalism participation scores like out of 10. And then homework, the only homework they will have, unless it's like a project, is 20 minutes of reading from their chosen book, and they've all chosen books. And a log on the SSR log on Google Classroom. And they already know they read 20 minutes a day and they fill in one log a day. And I'll be checking homework throughout the week. And then next slide. And we're following McGraw-Hill. Everything is going to be on the computer from McGraw-Hill. It's a good way for them to practice as well for the state exams at the end of the year, since that's computerized now. They won't really have homework on there unless it's some classwork that they haven't managed to finish. But I'll be emailing to let you know if there's any student that hasn't fulfilled their classroom requirements. That's about it.
Hi, Dr. Kat, there was a question in the chat, so I don't know if you want to address that before I go. It says, do you want the students to bring these post-its and materials to class and give to you, including loose leaf paper and stuff?
Hold
I
all
just-
questions. Hold all questions till the end.
Okay, sorry. Sounds sounds good.
Sorry.
Hi, my name is Ms. Purpy. I am the ENL teacher here at Academy of the City. I have been here for 9 years. I previously worked at the elementary school, and my job is to work with students who speak two languages. My sole purpose is to, for the most part, push into classrooms and help students with their existing curriculum. So like I'm not giving them extra work. And depending on their level, I will either pull them out during a non a period where it's like an extra period and work with them on basic English skills, including listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So I don't give any additional homework. And my job is to work with a small group of students within the classroom or out of the classroom, and modifying their work for in order for them to make the work that Dr. Kat and Mr. Roberts accessible depending on their English language level. And well, I get Noelle is translating, so I guess we don't need the Spanish translation slide. And that's it.
Hey, my name's Evans Fullhart. I'm the eighth grade ICT, ELA and social studies teacher, and well, co-teacher, and the eighth grade sets for ELA teacher. So ICT stands for Integrated Co-Teaching. I co-teach with Mr. Roberts for social studies, and I co-teach with Dr. Kat for English, ELA. Um, when I do sets, I pull out students depending on their IEP. We work on similar things with that Miss Purpy works on, but it depends on what their IEP is and what their grade level is and what they need to do to in order to support their progress towards the grade level. This is my second year at Susan B. Anthony. Sorry, my old school Susan B. Anthony. This is my second year at AOC.
What?
Yes, and so it's my sixth year as a teacher. Um, my philosophy is that all students can learn, if they're given the supports that they need. I've been greatly enjoying working with Mr. Robertson and Dr. Cat, and I've also worked with the students that I had last year when they were seventh graders. So if you guys have any questions for me, my email is at the bottom of the page, and I'm looking forward to a great year with the students.
Good evening. My name is Maria Tejeda. I've been at AOC for quite a while now. So I've seen already some parents that I've known from years before. So I'm Dominican, and I also speak Spanish. So I've helped students. So I am the ELA learning specialist. I provide assistance to students. Can you hear me? Okay. So I provide assistance in ELA for reading and writing, supporting those students who need assistance because they are performing below their grade level. And I help students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I usually either push in or will be pulling out. I started this week. I will be sending a letter home letting you know about the program. In the pullouts, I will be using my own materials for students to help them in their standards and skills that they need some assistance with. If you need to contact me, my email is at the end on the last slide. It will be a pleasure helping your child increasing their performance this year. Have a good night.
Hi, my name is Ms. Yao. I'm the 8th grade Algebra 1 teacher. So it is a Regents-bearing course, so all the students will take the Algebra 1 Regents exam at the end of the year. The date is June 18th. Contact information is listed here. Some class expectations, like Dr. Kat, just be on time, be prepared, be present, be respectful, be ready to learn. Homework grades, anything they don't finish in class, and extra practice sometimes on Delta Math. Sometimes I do assign questions that are on the classwork, especially for homework. And I do take professionalism and participation scores every day each week. Some materials for class, they need to have a pencil always. Sometimes we use colored pencils when we're doing the corrections in class. They need to always have their notebook. I do have a space for them to leave their notebook if they would like, so that they are never unprepared for class. However, those students who choose to bring their notebooks home, they just have to make sure to bring it to class every day. Also required is a TI-84 graphing calculator. A lot of the students have already purchased them and brought them to class. I did list that as a homework grade, so if your child did not bring it or purchase it yet, that is the reason why there is probably a 0 and missing for that score. Next slide, please. Thanks. So these are the units that we'll be looking at through this year. We're on unit 1 right now, solving single variable linear equations and inequalities. Some of the kids are almost done with this unit, so they are going to be taking a test tomorrow. However, it varies by class as well. Then the next units will be exploring functions, then systems, linear inequalities, introduction to exponential functions and polynomials and factoring, quadratic equations, and statistics. Like mentioned before, the Regents are on June 18th. They are required to bring their math notebook and graphing calculator to class each day. At the end of each unit, I usually do a notebook check, and slides are also posted on Google Classroom, also with my notes from the class as well. Delta Math is a good platform to do extra practice. And in this class, students are expected to be deep thinkers. I do have high expectations for them because they do need to pass the Regents to graduate high school. So if they just participate in class, ask for help, do their own classwork, take notes, then they could be successful in this class. And I'm always here.
Can we go to the first slide, please, Mr. Roberts? No, this is not the first one. No, this is the third one, I believe.
This is this is the first one. It goes 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Academy of the City Middle School, the best school in New York City. And I am Mr. Mansour. I am the life science teacher for 8th grade. And the mental and the emotional well-being of my students are my top priorities. Therefore, the most important rule in my classroom is there is no stress ever. I can fix anything except turning the clock back. We follow the New Visions curriculum. It is a student-centered and the hands-on approach to learning and doing science. And we have 6 topics. The first one is homeostasis, and the second one is natural selection, and the third one is genetics, and the fourth one is ecology, and the fifth one is also a branch of ecology, and the last one is human impact on ecosystems. I pride myself in connecting science to real life and to student life and culture and identities. And that makes the scientific facts, which is very dry, it makes them palatable and understandable. Next slide, please. What I expect my students to bring to class is number 2, pencils, no mechanical pencils, because they cannot use the mechanical pencils on the regions. Blue and black ink pen. They cannot use any other color. Eraser, and the eraser has to be a different eraser, not the one attached to the pencil, because if they make a mistake in bubbling while they answering multiple choice, they have to completely erase it, and that can only done by one of these erasers that are different, not the one attached to the pencil. And they have to bring loose leaf, and they have to bring the class handouts. Next, please. Homework will be completed handwritten, but it is going to be posted on Google Classroom. And I also post my slides and all the handouts. And they can read it in advance if they wish. They can refer to it if they rather use the digital form, but I always give them a hard copy in class as well. However, the homework and everything has to be done handwritten. No homework or any assignment will be submitted on Google Classroom. There are a few things that you can do to help your child. Encourage them to sleep 8 hours every day, eat breakfast morning, whether at home or at school, eat lunch at school, and have a quiet time to study at home. I request them to study 1 hour 5 days, not 7 days. They have to take 2 days off and 1 hour for 5 days. And please encourage them and make sure that they have joined Google Classroom and to check the announcement every day. However, they check their grades only twice a week, not more than that, so they don't stress out. And also, it is the student responsibility if they miss a homework, they did not turn it in, classwork, that they were not at the class, they missed a quiz or a test or anything of that nature. It is their responsibility to communicate with me, and I will make sure that I'll give them time and to complete the missing work. And please encourage them also to advocate for themselves. If they need any help, I'm available for them anytime. And my email is at the bottom of the screen. You can communicate with me anytime. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Gavin. I work with 8th grade primarily this year. This is my second year at Academy of the City and my 7th year teaching overall. This year, again, as I said, I'm working primarily with 8th grade. Just as Mr. Fullhart does sets for ELA, I do sets for math, depending on the student's IEP. And I'm also working with Mr. Mansour and Ms. Yao in science and math this year. If you need any any way to contact me, my contact information is listed below, and I'm looking forward to working with your student this year. Thank you.
Okay, so here is contact list for all of your eighth grade teachers. We have Dr. Cat, Miss H, myself, Mr. Mansour. We also have our eighth grade counselor and our student success and high school support, Miss D, on here. She could not join us tonight, but here is all her email. So if you have any high school related questions or anything in regards to senior trip or anything like that, we have Miss Tejeda on here as well as Miss Perpy, Mr. Fullhart, and I can't see the last one. I think that's Miss Gavin. But yes, so here's all our contact information. I'll keep it up for another minute just in case anybody needs to take a screenshot or write it down. Okay, I see the chat has some questions, so we will use this time for those questions. Okay. Question from Diana Lamanji. Do you want the students to bring those Post-its and materials to class and give it to you, including loose leaf paper, etc.? I don't know who that question is
That's
for.
for me.
Okay.
It's for me. So the paper should already be in the binder, which they need to bring with them to class every day. It's good if they also put their Post-its in the pocket of the binder because we use them as bookmarks or for notes or for anything else. So everything should be in the binder and that's all they have to bring. I think that was the only question for me.
And then this question seems like a Miss Whitty question. Are regents required for MS graduation? So Miss Whitty, if you could speak to that, or Miss H or Mr. Mansour, if you guys know.
Yes, absolutely. I can speak to it. Apologize in advance, everyone. My son is cutting a tooth, so if you see him on, apologize about that. So regents are not a requirement for graduation for eighth graders, but it is something we like to offer our eighth grade class as it is an advantage for them going into high school. If you pass either the algebra or now the life science regents, it gives you those credits in high school, meaning that you don't have to take those classes upon entry to school. You move to the next science and math class. However, if you don't pass them for some reason this year, it's not something that is penalized towards a student or hold against them. It just means that they retake the class again in ninth grade and can sit for the exam again in ninth grade. So it's a way to give them kind of a leg up in their credits for high school.
Okay. So the next question is, are there opportunities for students to do extra credit? So for a social studies class, there are not. My class, I make it to where you complete what you need to complete, and it's very hard to fail. I mean, the only way to really fail my class is to fall behind in work, because it does start to pile up. As far as extra credit, if you do what you're supposed to do, your hard work is going to be rewarded. So I am not going to give the opportunity for extra credit to someone who just sits there and does nothing the entire year.
There is no extra credit for my class either.
Yeah, same with me. No extra credit.
The only time I do extra credit is if there's a quiz and there's extra credit, but that is applied towards the quiz specifically. I don't do extra credit in general.
And then we have, will this presentation be emailed to us?
So the presentation will be on the website for anyone to access whenever they want.
And then we have, what's the meeting on the 26th for?
So the meeting on the 26th is for all of our specials teachers and our wellness teachers for you to hear from them as well.
And then where can I get the hours of each class? My daughter is Yamileth. I believe the schedule is on the website, so you can take a look on the website. You'll be able to see the half-day schedule as well as our regular bell schedule. As far as Yamileth's schedule, if that is not on the website, I can email that to you if you want that, but otherwise everything's on the website. I try to manage.
Power School, just to also share that Power School also has each student's website if for or their their daily class if for with the times. If for some reason you don't see it on your end from the parent portal, you can always email MS Operations and they can email you that directly as well.
So I try to manage my kids' homework. Is there any place that is listed other than Google Classroom? So each teacher has a section of the board in their classroom where students are come in and they know to look to write down homework. They should be getting planners relatively soon. I know they have paper copies of planners right now. So if your child is not writing down their homework, that's kind of on them. Otherwise, or you can reach out to the teachers if you need to, but Google Classroom and your child's planner should be the main place to look for that. Mr. Roberts, is the classwork versus homework? Do you mean homework is classwork that is not completed, or that initiation to the classwork? So it really depends on the day. If I give, so for example, I gave a DBQ this past week, which kind of is a lengthy assignment. So if it's a lengthy assignment like that, I will tell if there's like 8 documents, I'll tell them to do 4 in class, complete the other 4 for homework. So that's really just going to depend on the week and the workload I'm giving. If you have any questions about that throughout the week, you can email me. I don't mind if you email me every day. I can answer that better for you. I'm going to try and give homework probably. It's not going to be weekly for me. It's probably going to be every other week. I'm going to do my best to do every other week. So it'll just really depend on the day. Can the quiz be made up if the student misses it by any chance? Is that for all of us?
In my class, yes, they can.
Yeah, same for me. They can make up tests if they miss.
Same for me. Just to add for the homework for my class, it's always the same. It's to read 20 minutes. They should be bringing their book home with them, or if not, having like a PDF version of their book to read at home. But that's my homework. We use McGraw, StudySync, and Google Classroom.
So who can help me re-access Power School? I'm still blocked from last year. That would be a Mr. Schroeder question, I believe. So I would just send an email to Mr. Schroeder. He can get you help with that. How do I know what's my son's IEP?
So, if your child has an IEP, that's something that you would probably know. IEP stands for Individualized Educational Plan. So if you have any questions or concerns around an IEP, and if your student has one, you can contact, oh, she's here. Andrea Noel, she is our special education coordinator and can answer any questions regarding IEP, support services that you might have. If this is a term you've never heard before, then you are a parent whose child does not have one. This is something you probably have known about prior to this meeting. I'm going to put her email in the chat for everyone too, in case you would like to contact her as well.
Thank you, Nora.
Andrea, while you're here, is there any way to answer this question? How do you know what my son's IEP is? The best way to just send you an email, or?
Yeah, the best way is just to send me an email and we can discuss that.
Cool. Is there any other questions? Does AOC help making the kids' My Schools account for high school application?
That's a really great question. So my school's accounts are initiated by parents. So basically what happens is any student that is in a New York City public school, including a charter school such as ours, has My School's account code that needs to be affiliated with an email. So Miss Miller, who is one of our high school placement supports, did a meeting with families about onboarding for My Schools, where basically you need an active email address to sign up for it. And then once you're signed up, around the end of this month, everyone will have their kind of My Schools code, which allows you to log on to the platform. It's a little bit of a complex process. And so you might have received communication today from the school that we are setting up individual meetings with families and students around Choosing Schools, My Schools account and application. So if you have really specific questions, that meeting time is a really great place to get any individualized questions answered. You can always email me or Miss D as well, in regards to.
My children are new to the school this year, and I'm trying to decipher the grading. It changes so much every day. I'm not really sure what you mean by that. If you could be more specific in regards to what grades you're talking about, that would probably be a lot easier for us to answer. If you can honestly, if you can guys can unmute, but don't all at once. So Cassandra, if you can unmute and just this way it's easier instead of us reading through the chat.
Sure. You all have both my kids, Tyler and Dylan.
Mhm.
So it's just like because it's new to me and I'm just trying to figure out, how everything works. I'm like addicted to looking at Power School and seeing how they're doing every day, which is probably not good. But like Tyler will go from being in like having an A to being like a D minus. Like I just don't understand like why that's changing so much based off, and I just don't know what it's based off of. So I'm just trying to figure it out.
I think Power School, sorry, Mr.
No, go
Roberts, you
ahead.
can always cut me off too. Power School can be a little deceiving at times because our school policy is not always in live time or all the grades uploaded all at once for every class. So you might log on one day and maybe Dr. Cat has all of her assignments in, but Mr. Roberts has one of the two. So I think a good rule of thumb is if you check it by the end of each week to kind of see where things fall, that's a better barometer to see like how are students doing overall. Because if a assignment is inputted into Power School, but a teacher hasn't necessarily added it yet, it looks like a 0 until something is there, which then shows that a student has a D and then goes from an A, if that makes sense. So I think sometimes Power School, as great as it is, when it's not updated in real time, once an assignment is created, you're seeing zeros as opposed to something that just wasn't graded and inputted into the system.
Okay.
If there are any other questions, I would unmute or type it in the chat.
Hi, Mr. Roberts.
Hi,
So, Cole, do we have any trips this year?
is that Nada?
Hi.
Hi, Nada. Trips, I have no idea right now, to be completely honest with you. I'm sure the eighth grade team will sit down and figure that out at some point, but considering we just started school only a few weeks ago, trips are not something we've talked about yet, but we will definitely get something moving at some point.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? All right, Miss Whitty, any final words?
Yeah, well, thank you all for coming today or this evening rather and getting a chance to meet our team and ask some questions. I will stay back as well as Mr. Roberts since he is the host and our teachers for a couple minutes in case anybody wanted to stay on, ask any additional questions. Otherwise, thank you all for your time. And we are really looking forward to a fantastic eighth grade year with our seniors and wishing them all the best of luck and support through this high school process for them. Thank you all again. Have a great night.
Cassandra, is there a back to school where we can speak to you one-on-one? So that's would be parent-teacher conferences. The dates for those should be on the school calendar or the website. So you'll be able to see those dates there. And then the way you sign up for those is through a Calendly link that will be sent out to you before the dates of those.
It's the 21st and 22nd of November.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. And is it Zoom or is it in person?
There's an option for in person or Zoom pending the day that you select.
Okay, great.
And then in the interim, if there ever is a want or need to speak to one of us, you can always email directly to set up a phone meeting or a Zoom meeting. If something prior to that comes up, we're available to meet too. or email. Just let us know what's the best way to communicate.
Perfect. Thank you. I look forward to meeting all of you in person.
All right. Mr. Roberts, thank you for hosting. Don't forget to save the recording.
I'll do my best.
Thank you all again so much. Have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you all soon in the school building.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Good night.
everybody.